Sophia's world was one of soundless beauty. Born deaf, she had never heard the notes of a piano, yet she felt every vibration, every tone, every emotion. Music flowed through her fingers like a second language. Her ability to compose extraordinary melodies was a gift she nurtured daily in her small New York apartment, where sunlight streamed through the curtains and onto her beloved piano. Sophia's closest friend, Clara Evans, had been a part of her life for years. The two had met in college, bonding over their shared love for music. Clara, an aspiring pianist, admired Sophia's talent, often sitting in awe as Sophia created hauntingly beautiful compositions. "You have a genius no one else can replicate," Clara would say, her voice tinged with what Sophia thought was admiration. For Sophia, Clara was her confidant. She shared her music freely, trusting Clara completely. Sophia had no aspirations for fame. Her music was personal, an extension of her soul. Clara, on the other hand, dreamed of stages, spotlights, and applause. Her career, however, was stagnant. No matter how much she practiced, her performances lacked the spark that set her apart. One rainy evening, as Sophia played a new composition she'd been working on, Clara listened intently. It was a melancholy piece, filled with longing and hope, a melody that seemed to touch something deep within the listener. "This one is special," Clara said, her eyes shining. Sophia smiled, oblivious to the turmoil brewing in Clara's mind. Clara left that night with a plan forming. Her frustration with her own lack of success had reached a breaking point. Watching Sophia create masterpieces with ease filled her with envy. Sophia's refusal to share her music with the world felt like a waste Clara could no longer tolerate. The opportunity came a few weeks later when Clara visited Sophia. While Sophia was in the kitchen preparing tea, Clara spotted a folder on the piano bench labeled Originals. Inside were pages of handwritten sheet music, Sophia's heart and soul etched into every note. Without hesitation, Clara snapped pictures of the compositions and slipped the folder back into place. Days turned into weeks, and Sophia noticed Clara's absence. The texts and calls dwindled, replaced by cryptic social media posts about new opportunities. Sophia shrugged it off, assuming Clara was busy. She returned to her piano, pouring herself into new melodies, unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. One morning, as Sophia sipped her coffee and scrolled through her phone, a headline caught her eye. "Rising star Clara Evans stuns with original composition." Her heart skipped a beat as she clicked the video link. The screen filled with Clara, sitting confidently at a grand piano in a packed concert hall. The music that filled the room was unmistakable. It was Sophia's. Every note, every rhythm, every emotion belonged to her. Sophia's hands trembled. Clara's Betrayal hit like a thunderclap, leaving Sophia paralyzed. The person she trusted most had stolen her life's work, claiming it as her own. As the video ended with a standing ovation for Clara, Sophia's world crumbled. But amidst the heartbreak, a fire began to burn. Sophia might be silent, but she would not let her music be stolen without a fight. Sophia sat at her piano, staring blankly at the keys. Her heart ached with betrayal. Clara's theft wasn't just an attack on her music, it was an attack on her identity. Her compositions were the way she communicated with the world, the language she used to express emotions words could never capture. And now the world believed Clara was the genius behind her melodies. Sophia refused to cry. She'd wasted enough tears on betrayal. Instead, she reached for her journal, flipping through pages of scribbled ideas and notes. It wasn't just Clara's betrayal that fueled her now. It was the realization that she had underestimated her own power. Clara might have stolen her work, but Sophia knew the truth, and she had the talent to fight back. Her fingers hovered over her laptop as she considered her options. Legal action felt like a dead end. She had no resources to fight a prolonged battle in court, especially against Clara's newfound fame. Instead, Sophia decided to turn to the platform that had always been a source of inspiration: social media. She had an online following, small but loyal, made up of people who admired her quiet strength and her remarkable gift for music. Over the years, she had shared snippets of her compositions, videos of her playing, and updates about her creative process. Her followers knew her style, her unique touch. If anyone could help her prove the truth, it was them. Sophia recorded a video that evening. She addressed her followers in sign language, subtitles translating her silent words. "Music has always been my voice," she began. "But today, someone has stolen that voice. A person I once called a friend has taken my work and claimed it as their own. I need your help to show the world the truth." She played the composition Clara had stolen, the haunting melody that had captured the world's attention. Then she opened her journal, holding up the original handwritten notes. The video ended with her playing a new piece she had been working on, a composition filled with anger and determination. The response was overwhelming. Within hours, her video began to gain traction. Comments flooded in from people who recognized her talent and expressed outrage at Clara's betrayal. Her followers began sharing the video, tagging influential musicians, journalists, and even concert organizers. But Sophia knew this was only the beginning. She needed more than online outrage to reclaim her work. She needed a platform as big as the one Clara had used to showcase her stolen music. As she scrolled through the messages pouring in, one caught her eye. It was from a well-known music journalist who had seen her video. "Your story is powerful," the message read. "If you're willing to share more, I'd love to help you expose the truth." Sophia's heart raced. This was her chance. She replied immediately, agreeing to meet. She had no idea what the next steps would be, but one thing was clear: the world was about to hear her voice louder than ever before. Sophia arrived at the cafe early, her nerves tightly wound. The journalist, Marcus Hale, was waiting for her. He was a tall man with sharp eyes and a kind demeanor, carrying a notebook and a recorder. He greeted her warmly, nodding in understanding when she began communicating in sign language. Through an interpreter app on her phone, Sophia explained everything: Clara's betrayal, the stolen composition, and how the melody Clara performed at her international debut was undeniably hers. She showed Marcus the journal pages where she had sketched out the piece months ago, complete with corrections and annotations only she could have made. Marcus leaned forward, intrigued. "Your story is compelling, Sophia," he said, "but to expose Clara, we need more than your word. We need undeniable proof." Sophia nodded. She had already thought about this. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through old videos she had uploaded privately. One showed her playing the stolen melody during a practice session months before Clara's performance. Another showed her composing it, pausing, and scribbling notes in the same journal she had with her now. Marcus watched the videos intently. "This is exactly what we need," he said. "I'll write a feature article and include links to your videos. But that's just the beginning. To truly get the world's attention, you need to perform this piece yourself." Sophia hesitated. Performing live was something she hadn't done in years. Clara's fame and her own introverted nature had kept her in the background, relying on social media to share her music. But Marcus was right. This was her chance to take back what was hers. "How?" she typed into the app. Marcus smiled. "There's a major international concert in 2 weeks, the same platform where Clara plans to perform her next stolen piece. I have contacts who can help you get a spot. But you'll need to prepare." The thought terrified Sophia, but determination burned brighter. She agreed to the plan, shaking Marcus's hand firmly before leaving. The next 2 weeks were a blur. Sophia poured every ounce of her energy into preparing for the performance. She practiced tirelessly, refining every note and ensuring her emotions shone through in every keystroke. Her online followers rallied around her, sharing her story with a growing fervor. The hashtag Justice for Sophia began trending, and musicians worldwide started supporting her cause. Meanwhile, Clara was oblivious to the brewing storm. Confident in her stolen success, she announced her upcoming performance of a new original composition, a piece Sophia recognized as another one of her works. Sophia's anger fueled her determination. She would not let Clara win again. With Marcus's help, Sophia secured her slot at the same concert. She wouldn't just expose Clara's lies, she would reclaim her voice on the grandest stage possible. The night of the concert approached, and as Sophia sat at her piano, she took a deep breath. The world didn't know it yet, but they were about to witness the truth, unfiltered, undeniable, and louder than ever before. The grand concert hall was abuzz with energy on the night of the international performance. Renowned musicians, critics, and fans filled the seats, eagerly awaiting the show. Among the performers was Clara, radiant and confident, basking in the glow of her fabricated fame. Backstage, Sophia sat in the corner, her heart pounding. She wore a simple yet elegant dress, her presence unassuming, but her determination unshakable. Marcus was beside her, offering reassuring words. He had helped coordinate everything: her appearance, the scheduling, and even ensuring that Clara would perform directly before Sophia. "You've got this," Marcus said firmly, his voice cutting through her rising anxiety. "This is your moment. The truth will speak louder than her lies." Sophia nodded and closed her eyes, placing her hands in her lap. She pictured the piano keys, imagining each note of her stolen melody flowing freely. This wasn't just a performance. It was her story, her heart, and her vengeance wrapped into every chord. Clara's name was announced, and the crowd erupted in applause. As Clara walked on stage, her face glowing with confidence, Sophia felt her stomach twist. This was the moment she had waited for, yet the sight of Clara made her betrayal feel fresh again. Clara sat at the grand piano, her fingers gliding effortlessly over the keys. The stolen melody filled the room, drawing gasps of admiration from the audience. Sophia clenched her fists, the familiar notes slicing through her like a dagger. Backstage, Marcus was recording everything, his phone capturing the moment Clara played Sophia's composition. "This is all the evidence we need," he whispered. When Clara finished, the applause was deafening. She stood, bowing with a proud smile, completely unaware of what was about to happen. As she walked off stage, her eyes briefly met Sophia's. Clara froze, her confident expression faltering. Sophia stared back, her gaze unwavering. She could see the flicker of panic in Clara's eyes, a silent acknowledgement that she knew the truth was closing in. Then the announcer's voice echoed through the hall. "And now, a special performance by Sofia Rivera." The audience quieted as Sophia stepped onto the stage. Her movements were calm, but her heart raced. Sitting at the piano, she placed her hands gently on the keys and looked out at the crowd. The lights were bright, the room vast, but she felt their curiosity. Taking a deep breath, Sophia began to play. The melody was the same Clara had performed moments ago, but as Sophia played, it was alive with emotion. The audience could feel the difference, the soul, the passion, the story behind each note. As her fingers danced across the keys, murmurs began to spread through the crowd. People exchanged glances, their confusion growing. This wasn't just a melody, it was a declaration, a revelation of the theft that had occurred. Sophia's final note rang out, and the room fell silent. The audience was stunned, sensing something monumental had just unfolded, though they didn't yet understand. Sophia stood, her gaze steely, ready for the storm to come. The silence after Sophia's performance was almost deafening. Then scattered applause began, hesitant at first, but growing louder as the audience processed what they had just witnessed. Sophia stood tall, her hands trembling slightly, but her expression was calm. She glanced toward the side stage, where Marcus gave her an encouraging nod, holding his phone firmly in hand. Clara, still backstage, watched in horror. She had seen Sophia's name on the program, but dismissed it as a coincidence. Now, the realization hit her like a crashing wave. Sophia had come to reclaim what was rightfully hers. Before the applause could fully subside, Marcus stepped onto the stage. Holding a microphone, he addressed the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight," he began, his voice steady yet charged with purpose. "What you just heard was not just a performance. It was the true origin of a melody you might have thought belonged to someone else." The murmurs among the crowd intensified. Clara's face turned pale, her hands clutching the curtain as she peeked out. Marcus continued, "This melody was composed by none other than Sofia Rivera, the artist you just witnessed. It was stolen from her by someone she once trusted." He gestured towards Sophia, who stood silently beside the piano. "Tonight, we're here to set the record straight." The crowd erupted in gasps and whispers. Clara could feel her world unraveling as Marcus played a recording on the large screen behind them. It was one of Sophia's videos, posted months ago, where she had first shared snippets of her composition. "As you can see," Marcus said, pointing to the screen, "this video predates the debut performance of the same piece by another artist." The audience watched in disbelief as Clara's betrayal unfolded before their eyes. Some looked toward the program booklet, flipping pages to confirm what they suspected. Clara's name was there, credited as the composer. Sophia finally stepped forward. "I am not here to seek revenge," she signed, with Marcus translating aloud. "I am here to reclaim my voice." Her words sent a ripple of emotion through the audience. They could feel the weight of her pain and determination, her silent strength that spoke louder than any words. Clara, unable to remain hidden any longer, stormed onto the stage. "This is absurd," she shouted, her voice shaking. "You can't just make these accusations without proof." Marcus, unflinching, held up his phone. "We have all the proof we need," he replied calmly. "The timestamps, the videos, the original sheet music, all of it is documented." Clara's confident facade crumbled as the audience began to turn on her, murmurs of disapproval rising. Sophia stepped closer, meeting Clara's frantic gaze. Her expression wasn't one of anger, but of quiet resolution. "You took my music," she signed slowly, "but you can never take my soul." The hall erupted in applause, not for Clara, but for Sophia, whose truth had finally been unveiled. The applause filled the grand concert hall, echoing like a wave of justice. Sophia stood at the center of the stage, her head held high, her heart racing. Beside her, Marcus scrolled through the overwhelming stream of messages pouring in from the live broadcast. Online viewers rallied behind Sophia, their comments filled with support and outrage over Clara's betrayal. Clara, on the other hand, had retreated backstage, her face pale as the truth unraveled in front of her. She was no longer the celebrated artist she had once pretended to be. Her career, built on lies, had crumbled in the span of a single performance. Sophia, despite her triumph, felt no satisfaction in Clara's downfall. She wasn't here for vengeance. She turned to Marcus, signaling with her hands, "I want this to end peacefully. I want to move forward." Marcus nodded, his admiration for Sophia's grace growing even stronger. Taking the microphone, he addressed the audience again. "Thank you for standing by Sophia tonight. The truth has been revealed and justice has been served. Now, it's time to let the music speak for itself." With a deep breath, Sophia returned to the piano. The audience hushed, sensing something profound was about to happen. Her fingers hovered over the keys, and then she began to play. A new melody, one she had composed in secret during the months of betrayal and heartbreak. The music poured from her soul, raw and beautiful. Each note carried her pain, her resilience, and her hope for the future. The audience sat in awe, moved by the purity of her performance. Even Clara, watching from the shadows, felt a pang of guilt as she realized what she had truly stolen. Sophia's voice, her passion, her identity. When the final note faded, the silence was profound. And then, as if on cue, the audience erupted into a standing ovation. Sophia's eyes welled with tears as she bowed, her heart full of gratitude for the second chance she had been given. Backstage, Clara approached Sophia hesitantly. Her once confident demeanor was now replaced with shame. "Sophia," she said softly, her voice trembling, I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm sorry. For everything." Sophia looked at her for a long moment. Then, with a calm expression, she signed, "You can't undo what's been done, but you can choose to be better." Clara nodded, tears streaming down her face. She knew Sophia's forgiveness would never erase her actions, but her words gave Clara a chance to reflect, and perhaps change. As the night ended, Sophia and Marcus left the concert hall together. "You did it," Marcus said, his voice filled with pride. Sophia smiled, signing back, "We did it." Her journey wasn't just about reclaiming her music. It was about rediscovering her strength and her ability to overcome.